Hey! Grave of the Fireflies has a lot going for it, and one of the most crucial elements of it is the central relationship. Now, the movie is set in World War II, and it's all about a brother and his sister and how they survive post their mother dying. It's a very tragic, heartbreaking movie, but it has a warmness to it that I thoroughly enjoyed and didn't expect to get from a movie about World War II, where people are getting disemboweled. People are living off nothing, and this brother and sister are trying to survive in the middle of nowhere with absolutely no food. It's a very childlike view of World War II, which I appreciated. That's very rare, that a World War II movie, or a war movie in general, isn't just all misery. But by the end, obviously, you look at that childlike view, and it's ultimately what gets our main character's sister killed, is that he's too egotistical, he's too prideful to go back to his aunt's house because he felt he was slighted by her, and he felt like he could take care of her, but he had no idea how to move around in the world, especially not during World War II. It's ultimately what got his sister killed, and that's kind of the roundabout story here. Is the opening is he's just sitting in deep depression, wallowing, and one of the guards that's walking around the station picks up his little can of fruit things and throws it out. And once we see that happen, the movie kind of turns into the stream of consciousness where our main character seems to be reflecting on his life and his life choices. There's moments when he's walking in on his own memories, in a sense. And it's a really interesting way to go about kind of this almost PTSD angle of the movie. Obviously, he didn't fight in the war, but he has PTSD from the war because everyone around him died because of his actions and mistakes. But there's a disconnect for me. Some of the pacing, I think, could be better. I think even though it's an hour 29, 89 minutes, sometimes it drags. There's a part between when he leaves his aunt's house to when they're dwelling in this whatever hovel place where I was like, okay, it just kind of keeps going. They're just doing things, catching toads, stewing things, making food, running around. It goes on and on and on. It feels like for a little too long. I think you could have trimmed it up a little bit, even though it's under 90 minutes. And that's crazy for me to say, because I love 90-minute movies. It's hard to make them boring unless you're just horrifically untalented. And I wouldn't say this is boring. It just has a couple rough patches that disconnected me from the brother-sister relationship. And that's ultimately why I think I was a little let down by the ending. Everything leading up to it is pretty good. Everything from the opening, when we're watching the sister and the brother run around during an air raid, is just wonderful. Perfectly done. Great animation, striking visuals, and deeply depressing subject matter. But man, it's quite the striking movie. From the first couple of scenes, it's just gorgeous. And that's not accounting for the animation. The anime is a nice touch. I typically don't like anime. Like TV shows, the tropes of anime, it works here. I don't love it when they're overly stylized. This is a great looking animation with striking cinematography, striking composition. The composition of the images is great from the get-go. There's some images I was like, damn, if this was live action, that might be one of the best shots I've ever seen. And in animation, it's one of the best shots I've ever seen. It's a great, stunning looking movie. And it's perfectly made, I would say. I think the technical stuff is on point. The music is wonderful. It maintains kind of that childlike wonder that the characters have until they spiral out of control, and it spirals with them. It's a perfect reflection of the characters. It's just super well done. I did love the symbolism of the Fireflies, though. I think that was kind of a fun touch where the Fireflies seem to represent this innocence and the loss of that innocence. The sister at one point even says, "Why do Fireflies die so soon?" And I was like, ah! Why did she have to say it? I know she's going to die. I don't even have to know the movie to know she's dead. And that... Oh... They collect these fireflies. They're throughout the whole movie. They collect the fireflies in one scene, and they have this light show in their mosquito net, and it's this wondrous scene that ends bleakly, because that's the whole movie. It's encapsulated in that one scene. It's wonderful. It's brilliant. These two are living on their own. They love each other, and then the light slowly fades out. And it's a great symbolic representation of not only the movie itself, but the sister and her loss of her life and the loss of the innocence of her brother. It's quite a tragic symbol, really. Quite the movie. Very, very good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Will never watch it again. Not just because it's tragic, which it is, but because I just felt disconnected with it to a certain extent. It's just one that I don't really have the urge to see again. Most movies that I want to see again, like Eraserhead, for example, or Carrie, there's other things going on that I would like to get out of it, that I want to revisit. And this is like, it's just misery. There's some wonder in it that's nice, but I can't put this on really ever. So, yeah, it's a tough one. However, I have been thinking about next week's movie. I've had a week to think about this, and I've decided to go with Babel. Alejandro Iñárritu's movie, Babel. That's next week. Can't wait. It's quite brilliant. This is my Lumos.